Let's talk about another huge mistake women suffering with low thyroid are making every day, and that is assuming they've had the right tests. I cannot count how many times I see a woman come in suffering from low thyroid symptoms, and all that's ever been tested on her is a TSH and a total T4. Because understand, from the medical model, that's pretty much all you need to do. Because no matter what flavor of thyroid dysfunction you have, pretty much what you're going to get for that is you're going to get thyroid hormones. So let me just give you the real short rundown of what tests you should be getting done to have a full functional evaluation of your thyroid. Because I want you to remember this. There are 24 different ways published that we know that thyroid hormones can go wrong. And only one of them, really, two of them, have anything to do with the actual thyroid gland. A lot of problems happen at the level of the hypothalamus, the level of the pituitary, and outside of the thyroid gland. So let me tell you the test you should be getting from a doctor who's doing a good evaluation of this. Now, most doctors aren't going to do this because they wouldn't know how to interpret them. But let me tell you what you need to have done anyway. Number one, a TSH. Why? Because we've got to look to see how the pituitary is responding to the signals, the feedback from total T4 and total T3. The next thing you got to look at is total T4, total T3, free T3, free T4, T3 uptake and or thyroid binding globulin, reverse T3, and then you got to look at the antibodies, TPO antibodies and TBG antibodies. I think that's 10 different tests. If your doctor that you're seeing for your thyroid condition isn't looking at those, I got news for you. They're not fully evaluating your thyroid problem. They are fully evaluating it from a medically necessary model, because that model is, hey, what's the minimum we can do and not get sued? Because remember, it doesn't matter for them, it doesn't matter what's really causing your problem, whether it's autoimmune or cortisol or a binding globulin problem or a conversion problem. You're pretty much just going to get thyroid hormones. And the reason I'm taking a stand against that is, if you're taking thyroid hormones and you still feel like you have a low thyroid problem, then guess what? You haven't resolved the problem. And you've got to do these basic tests to find out where the problem is. Because I'll give you a breakdown. We've got primary hypothyroid. We've got secondary hypothyroid. We've got underconversion. There's overconversion. There's an autoimmune attack on the TPO. There's an autoimmune attack on TBG. There's cortisol. There's cortisol diminishing gut flora, so that 20% of your total T3 is not being made available. There's receptor downregulation. There's so many different patterns out there that you just can't see them all by looking at TSH and a total T4. You're only going to pick up maybe one of them. So if that's the only thing that's ever been done for you, then there's a really good chance that what's causing your low thyroid symptoms has not been accurately detected. And I hope that you find someone that understands everything I just told you about. Because believe me, there's a lot of things to look at. There's cytokines to look at. There's cortisol to look at. There's gut infections to look at. There's adrenal stress to look at. And if no one's looking at that, or they're looking at just a small part, there's no wonder, no question, no doubt why you're still suffering with low thyroid symptoms. Even though you're taking medication, even though your labs look normal, it's because you've made the mistake, and I don't blame you for it because you didn't know, but you've made the mistake of assuming you've had all the right tests.